This audiobook reveals the forbidden logos, the ancient language through which reality itself is formed. You are about to remember why the spoken word was once feared, guarded, and hidden from the masses. Every word you speak is a command to the universe. Stay with this, and reclaim the power that has always been yours. The Forbidden Logos. Introduction. The secret of creation is not hidden in randomness or blind force, but in the holy act of naming. Before form existed, there was intention clothed in sound, and through that sound, worlds were summoned into visibility. This eternal current has never ceased flowing. It moves still through every word you consciously release into the air. This power is known as the Forbidden Logos, not forbidden by gods, but forgotten by minds. You move through your days speaking as though language merely reports reality, unaware that it authors it. Each word you utter is both a vibration and a design, impressing itself upon the unseen field from which all experiences arise. When you say, "I am," you strike the tuning fork of existence itself. When you whisper, "I cannot," you seal doors before you ever approach them. Your speech radiates outward like a signal, instructing life how to respond to you. The vast quantum sea does not judge your declarations. It simply echoes them back into form. Most people wander unconsciously, scattering careless phrases and wondering why their lives repeat the same patterns. Yet you have arrived here because remembrance has begun. Something within you knows that speech is power, and that power waits for direction. This teaching is not poetry alone, nor superstition disguised as mysticism. It is law. The same force that shaped stars still listens through your breath, attentive to every decree you make. Words are not descriptions of reality. They are commands that reality obeys. Now a choice reveals itself. You may continue speaking from habit and forgetfulness, or you may awaken as a conscious creator, wielding the Logos with precision and reverence. You have never ceased creating your world. You have only forgotten how you were doing it. Now listen, remember, and speak with authority. Before we get into the book, comment, "I am ready," to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Awakening Spiral. Chapter 1. The First Word Remembered. The tale of Hazel serves as a mirror for the magnetic power of your own words. Like many, she moved through her days giving voice to every frustration, every setback, every perceived slight. "Nothing ever works out for me," she would say. "Why do I always get the short end?" Her complaints flowed as naturally as breath, each one etching deeper grooves into the pattern of her experience. Yet the universe, in its infinite wisdom, simply responded yes to her declarations. When she proclaimed that people always let her down, more disappointments appeared. When she spoke of constant struggle, life obliged by presenting more challenges. Her words were not describing her reality. They were designing it, brick by brick, through the ancient law of resonance. The power that shaped worlds from void still moves through human speech. Each phrase you utter carries a specific frequency, amplified by the emotion you invest in it. These vibrations ripple outward into the quantum field, attracting circumstances that match their pattern. Your casual comments are actually commands to the cosmic forces, programming the matrix of reality itself. Vernon's story illustrates this principle in action. Having learned of speech's creative power, he began each morning by speaking words of assurance into the dawn. "I move through my day with grace and ease," he would declare. "Opportunities find me naturally. I am surrounded by support and goodwill." At first, it felt mechanical, even foolish, but he persisted, allowing his tone to carry the ring of truth rather than mere hope. Within weeks, the fabric of his daily experience began to shift. Doors opened without struggle. Kind faces appeared at crucial moments. Resources emerged precisely when needed. He hadn't changed his external actions. He had simply altered the commands he was sending to the universe through his chosen words. Your words are not powerless observations. They are living seeds planted in fertile cosmic soil. Each one contains the blueprint of its own fulfillment. The ancient practice below will help you experience this truth directly. Ancient practice. Choose a simple blessing that resonates with your heart's desire. As you begin each day, speak it softly but with full presence. Let the words flow until you feel their truth in your bones, until the vibration of speaking and the reality of being become one. Watch as the universe begins orchestrating events to match your declaration. The power that spun galaxies into being awaits your conscious command. Chapter 2. The River of Intention. The whispered truth of creation's voice flows not just through grand cosmic events, but through the quiet moments of daily life. Take Mabel, whose gentle words to her garden transformed more than leaves and stems. Each morning she would pause before her plants, speaking to them as cherished companions. "You grow strong and vibrant," she would say. "Your flowers bring such joy." The plants responded not to complex language, but to the pure intention carried on her breath. This mirrors an essential truth. The creative force responds not to elaborate phrases, but to the authentic current flowing beneath them. Your words are vessels carrying the water of consciousness into manifest form. When you speak with sincerity, you transmit more than mere sound. You send forth living instructions that the universe must follow. Lyle discovered this principle through his relationship with money, where once he focused on lack, voicing constant concern over bills and expenses, he began instead to speak words of appreciation for whatever funds he had. "I am grateful for this abundance," he would say, even when facing apparent shortage. "Thank you for the continuous flow of prosperity into my life." At first, nothing seemed to change externally, but within himself, a shift occurred. The knot of financial anxiety began to loosen. As his words of gratitude dissolved inner resistance, outer circumstances gradually aligned with his new vibrational offering. Opportunities appeared, unexpected income arrived, and solutions emerged with surprising ease. This illustrates a fundamental law. The universe responds not to the sophistication of your vocabulary, but to the resonance of your truth. When you speak with authentic appreciation, you activate an ancient principle. Energy flows where attention goes. Your grateful words become instructions to the quantum field, directing it to replicate and expand that which you acknowledge with thanks. The wisdom keepers of old understood this. They knew that gratitude is not merely a passive response to abundance. It is a creative force that generates more to be grateful for. Each thank you uttered with presence becomes a seed planted in fertile universal soil destined to multiply according to its kind. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment each day to speak your gratitude aloud. Let your words flow like life-giving water, imagining each syllable of thanks nourishing the soil of possibility. Continue until you feel the inner landscape of your being shift from barren worry to fertile expectation. The power lies not in the specific words chosen, but in the sincere appreciation flowing through them. Chapter 3. The Sentence Within Breath. The invisible currents of creation move through every breath you take. In ancient times, masters taught that each sigh, each whisper, each exhale carries the authority to shape reality. This wisdom reveals itself through the story of Dottie, who discovered the hidden power in her unconscious expressions. One afternoon, as shadows lengthened across her workspace, Dottie noticed how often sighs of frustration escaped her lips. With each weary breath, her circumstances seemed to mirror her inner state, tasks growing more challenging, solutions slipping further away. In that moment of awareness, she touched upon a fundamental truth. Even unspoken sounds bear the weight of creative force. The breath itself writes an ongoing story in the quantum field. Each inhalation and exhalation forms letters in an invisible alphabet that the universe reads with perfect comprehension. Your lungs serve as instruments of manifestation, their rhythm conducting the symphony of your experience. Floyd's journey illuminates this principle with striking clarity. Through mindful observation, he discovered that his breath could become a conscious tool of transformation. He began a practice of breathing with purpose, drawing in acceptance with each inhalation, releasing resistance with each exhalation. As his awareness deepened, he noticed how this rhythmic breathing refined his speech, lending his words greater power and clarity. His experience teaches us that divine grammar flows through the simple act of breathing. Each breath cycle writes a new line in the story of your life, whether you recognize it or not. The ancient ones knew this. They understood that mindful breathing harmonizes thought, word, and manifestation. Ancient practice of breath alignment. Find a quiet space where you can breathe undisturbed. Close your eyes and allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. As you inhale, silently speak within, "I align." Feel these words resonate through your being. As you exhale, internally voice, "I allow." Let each breath cycle write new patterns of ease across your physical form. Continue this practice until you sense a shift in your energy field. Typically 5 to 10 minutes suffices, though wisdom will guide you to the right duration for your needs. Through this practice, you learn to conduct the orchestra of creation with the baton of conscious breath. Each inhalation becomes a pen, each exhalation an erasure of resistance, together composing the symphony of your unfolding life. Chapter 4. The Mirror Tone. The whispers you speak to yourself shape the very fabric of your reality. Every breath carries a message, every sigh writes a sentence in the book of your life. Within each exhalation lives either limitation or liberation. When you scold your reflection, as Lena once did, you send ripples through the quantum field that return as external criticism. Standing before her mirror each morning, Lena's harsh words became prophecy. "You're not enough," she would mutter, and the universe, ever faithful to our declarations, arranged circumstances to confirm her judgment. Her colleagues grew distant, Opportunities passed her by, and life itself seemed to whisper back her own criticisms. Yet the ancient wisdom teaches that vibration outpaces intention. Your body receives the frequency of your words before your mind can rationalize their meaning. This truth became clear through Clyde's transformation. After years of self-criticism, he began a sacred practice, greeting his reflection with dignity and pride. "You are worthy," he would declare each morning. "You are capable of greatness." At first, the words felt hollow, yet he persisted. Gradually, the vibration of his new self-talk began to reshape his reality. His colleagues started noting his confidence, strangers responded more warmly, and opportunities emerged as if summoned by his shifted tone. The universe, ever responsive to our vibrational offering, began reflecting back the dignity he now spoke into existence. This mirrors an ageless truth. Your words are not mere descriptions, but prescriptions for reality. The tone you use becomes the texture of your experience. Every syllable sends forth waves that return as circumstance. Every breath carries the power to bless or burden your path. Your voice holds the same creative force that shaped worlds into being. When you grasp this truth, you understand why the ancients treated speech as sacred. They knew that tone trains reality, that the vibration of your words molds the substance of tomorrow. Sacred practice. As you move through your day, attune yourself to the sound of your own voice. When you speak, pause to hear your words as though they were polishing the mirror of your future. Let kindness become your natural accent, feeling how each gentle word smooths the path ahead. Watch as your reality begins to echo back the grace you speak into being. Chapter 5. The Command Hidden in Choice. In the depths of an ancient valley lived a woman named Edith, whose every word carried a question mark. "Perhaps I should," she would begin, letting her voice trail into uncertainty. "Maybe if..." Her sentences would fade, unfinished prayers scattered to the wind. As she wavered, so did the universe around her. Opportunities remained half-formed, relationships stayed undefined, and abundance hovered just beyond reach, mirroring her own hesitation. The power of creation flows through decisive speech. When you speak with uncertainty, you command confusion to remain. Your hesitation becomes an instruction to the quantum field, programming delay into the fabric of your experience. Each maybe and perhaps creates ripples of indecision that return as circumstances requiring yet more deliberation. Through your voice, you either summon clarity or sustain confusion. The universe does not judge your words. It simply reflects their vibration with perfect fidelity. When you speak in circles, life circles back. When you waver, reality waits. Harold discovered this truth through necessity. Tired of watching opportunities dissolve in the mist of his uncertainty, he began simplifying his speech into clear, direct statements. Where once he would say, "I might try to," he now declared, "I will." His maybes transformed into yes or no, each word carrying the weight of decision. As his speech crystallized into clarity, so did his world. Opportunities that once seemed complex suddenly presented clear paths. People who previously gave vague responses now matched his directness. The universe, hearing the roar of his certainty, responded with equal precision. This mirrors an eternal principle. Clarity attracts clarity. When you speak with conviction, you transmit a frequency that magnetizes similar energy. Your certainty becomes a creative force, shaping the formless into form. Each decisive word acts as a chisel, carving definition into the marble of possibility. You may notice resistance to speaking with such clarity. The mind, accustomed to hedging its bets, may suggest that certainty tempts fate or invites disappointment. Yet this wisdom teaches that decisive speech is not about controlling outcomes. It is about providing clear instruction to the creative force that flows through all things. Think of the difference between a whispered maybe and a spoken yes. Feel how each vibrates differently in your body. The maybe disperses energy, while the yes concentrates it. One diffuses your creative power, the other focuses it into a laser of intention. Sacred practice. Choose one intention that matters to you. Strip away all qualification and hesitation. Shape it into a single, clear statement. Speak it aloud with the full authority of your being. Feel how the very air around you seems to crystallize with your certainty. Notice how clarity in speech creates clarity in the field of infinite possibility that surrounds you. Let your voice become the instrument through which decision shapes reality. Chapter 6. The Art of Silence. Your words shape reality with the precision of an ancient artisan's chisel. Those who understand this truth recognize that each declaration carves the contours of tomorrow. When you speak with maybe or perhaps, you instruct the universe to maintain uncertainty. Your hesitation becomes law, manifesting as circumstances that perpetually require more deliberation. Within the vast field of infinite possibility, your voice serves as the organizing principle. Like a master conductor, your words orchestrate the arrangement of energy into form. This is why those who achieve their desires learn to speak with unwavering clarity. They understand that decisive speech acts as a command to the cosmic forces that shape experience. Consider how nature itself demonstrates this principle. A seed does not question its purpose. It simply grows. The sun does not debate whether to rise. It simply shines. In the same way, your words must carry the certainty of natural law. In ancient times, sages withdrew into silence before pronouncing their most powerful declarations. They understood that power accumulates in stillness. Like Nora, who discovered that silence is speech in its most concentrated form, you too can learn to harness the creative force that gathers in moments of conscious quiet. Vernon's journey reveals this wisdom. By retreating from endless chatter, he allowed potential to gather like storm clouds before rain. His practice showed that when words emerge from silence, they carry greater creative force. Each declaration, born from stillness, struck with the precision of lightning, clear, powerful, and undeniable. The universe responds not to the volume of your words, but to their clarity. A whisper aligned with truth holds more power than 1,000 shouts of uncertainty. This is the secret of those who seem to effortlessly manifest their desires. They speak rarely, but with absolute conviction. The ancient practice. Find a quiet space where you can remain undisturbed. Close your eyes and enter complete silence. Feel the power gathering within this stillness, like water collecting behind a dam. Wait until you sense the weight of your next word forming within. Let it arise naturally from this depth of silence. When you finally speak, let your voice carry the authority of this gathered power. Notice how different these words feel, how they seem to reshape the very air around you. This is the voice of certainty. the tone that commands reality itself. Chapter 7. The Word and the Body. In the quietness of dawn, a merchant named Ivy noticed her energy depleting with every harsh word she spoke to herself. Each criticism seemed to weigh upon her shoulders, each complaint drawing vitality from her limbs. Through careful observation, she discovered that her body responded to her words as faithfully as a garden responds to rain or drought. The wisdom of ages teaches that your physical form listens intently to every syllable you utter. Your cells vibrate in harmony with the frequency of your speech, adjusting their very structure to match your declarations. When you speak of exhaustion, your muscles accept this as instruction. When you proclaim limitation, your body arranges itself accordingly. Fletcher, a skilled craftsman, lived this truth through transformation. For years, his workshop echoed with self-directed anger whenever his hands failed to achieve perfection. His body, ever the loyal servant, responded by tightening, contracting, diminishing its strength. Yet upon learning these ancient principles, he began speaking to himself as a beloved apprentice rather than a harsh master. "These hands are growing more skilled each day," he would say. "This body knows how to heal and strengthen itself." Within days, his energy transformed. His shoulders relaxed, his movements became more fluid, his stamina increased. The very cells of his body reorganized themselves in response to this new, nurturing language. Your physical form carries the wisdom of centuries within it. It understands the original language of creation, the same force that causes flowers to turn toward sunlight and seeds to unfold into trees. When you speak to your body with reverence, you activate this primordial intelligence. Just as sunlight calls forth life without force or strain, your words can awaken vitality within every cell. Your body yearns to align with the highest vibration you offer it. It responds not just to the meaning of your words, but to the energy they carry. Ancient practice. Sit quietly with your spine straight but relaxed. Place your hands gently on your knees, palms facing upward. Begin speaking to your body as the dawn speaks to a flower, with warmth, with certainty, with the knowledge that awakening is natural. Say, "I honor the wisdom within these cells. This body knows how to thrive. Every system aligns with perfect health." Observe how your posture naturally adjusts, how your breath deepens, how energy begins to flow more freely. Practice this communion with your body each morning for 7 days, and witness how your physical form responds to this language of light. Chapter 8. The Grammar of Desire. Once, in a distant village, there lived a woman named Betty who spent her days crafting beautiful tapestries. Though her work was admired by all, she constantly questioned her worthiness of good fortune. "Please bless my work," she would whisper, but her tone carried the weight of uncertainty. Like water seeking its own level, her experiences matched her wavering faith. Some days brought abundance, others scarcity. Your words create ripples in the infinite field of possibility. Yet it is not merely your vocabulary that shapes your reality. The universe responds more precisely to the energy beneath your words than to the words themselves. When you speak with doubt, even your prayers become questions rather than commands. Your emotional punctuation carries more power than your carefully chosen phrases. Milton, a humble potter, discovered this truth through simple observation. Where others begged the universe for success, He spoke as though his desires were already fulfilled. "Thank you for the abundance that flows through my work," he would say while shaping clay that had not yet been sold. His gratitude was not a petition, but a recognition of completion. Soon, customers appeared as naturally as sunrise follows dawn, drawn by the certainty that radiated from his workshop. This ancient teaching reveals that the difference between manifestation and perpetual waiting lies not in the words you choose, but in the energetic signature you attach to them. When you speak of your desires as though questioning their arrival, you place a question mark where an exclamation point belongs. The universe mirrors this hesitation, holding your manifestations in a state of perpetual uncertainty. Sacred practice. Stand before the rising sun and speak your desires in the language of completion. Rather than saying, "I wish" or "I hope," declare, "Thank you for your desire fulfilled." Feel the difference between asking and knowing. Let your gratitude ring with the certainty of remembering rather than the uncertainty of requesting. Practice this declaration daily until your emotional punctuation shifts from question mark to exclamation point, from doubt to knowing. The universe will respond not to your words alone, but to the unshakable certainty vibrating within them. Chapter 9. The Conversation with Creation. In the timeless wisdom traditions, a story speaks of a woman named Pearl who spent her days casting wishes to the heavens. Her prayers rose like smoke from a fire, dispersing into the air without return. Each declaration she made floated away, unmatchable by any divine response, for she left no space in her constant stream of words for an answer to form. The universal law reveals itself in silence as much as in sound. When you speak into the vastness, your words create vibrations that must complete their journey before the echo can return. This is the sacred rhythm of divine dialogue, the eternal dance between utterance and response. Through this ancient understanding, you begin to grasp that communication with the infinite operates as a perfect circuit. Each thought you release must be followed by a moment of receptivity. It is in these spaces between words that the universe whispers back. Consider how Petey discovered this truth. Where once he hurried through his manifestations, he learned to pause after each declaration. In these moments of stillness, inspiration would arise as naturally as dawn follows night. His thoughts would complete themselves, as though the universe itself was finishing his sentences. This reveals the deeper mystery, that true dialogue with the divine is never one-sided. The great consciousness responds when given space to do so. Your role is not merely to broadcast, but to engage in sacred exchange. Like the breath itself, spiritual communication requires both the outward flow and the inward reception. You may have noticed that those moments when guidance seems clearest often come not in the asking, but in the peaceful aftermath of your question. This is no coincidence. It is law. The universe cannot pour new wisdom into a vessel already full of words. The ancient practice below will help you master this eternal principle. Sacred practice, the echo of infinity. Find a quiet space where you can speak freely. Voice one clear intention or question to the universe. Then allow yourself to sink into complete stillness for several minutes. Notice any thoughts, feelings, or inspirations that arise naturally in this space of receptivity. These are the whispers of the infinite, completing the circuit of communication you initiated. Practice this daily, remembering that divine dialogue requires both speaking and listening in perfect balance. Through this practice, you'll discover that the universe is not a distant force to be petitioned, but an ever-present intelligence engaged in constant conversation with you. All that's required is the wisdom to create space for its reply. Chapter 10. The Blessing Blueprint. Long ago, in a village between mountains, lived a woman who saw only shadows where light dwelled. Each morning she would rise to catalogue her misfortunes, her words weaving a dark tapestry that seemed to attract more threads of the same hue. Until one day, when wisdom found her through an unexpected messenger, a child who transformed every raindrop into a gift through his joyous laughter. Through your own experience, you have witnessed how words shape the substance of reality. When you declare lack, scarcity rushes to match your proclamation. When you announce abundance, the universe rearranges itself to reflect this truth. This is not merely positive thinking. It is the fundamental law that governs the architecture of existence. Minnie discovered this truth through her own journey. Where once she saw burden in her daily tasks, she began speaking gratitude instead. "This long walk strengthens my body," she would say, replacing, "This path exhausts me." As her words shifted, reality began to mirror her new perspective. Her energy increased, opportunities appeared, and even her relationships transformed to match her elevated vibration. The ancient wisdom teaches that consistency in blessing acts as a chisel, sculpting your experience with precision. Every word of appreciation sends ripples through the quantum field, instructing matter itself to align with your highest vision. This is not magic. It is the natural order of creation responding to your creative command. Russell's story illuminates this principle with striking clarity. During a season of drought, his initial reaction was to curse the storms that finally arrived, seeing destruction where renewal waited. Yet something stirred within him to shift his perspective. As rain fell upon his fields, he began to speak words of thanksgiving. "Blessed is this water that nourishes our land," he declared. That year his harvest doubled, while neighboring fields yielded their usual portion. His experience demonstrates how blessing becomes the architect's pen, redesigning reality according to your highest vision. The power lies not in the words themselves, but in the energy they carry. When you transform complaint into blessing, you alter the very fabric of your experience. Each blessing spoken aloud becomes a seed planted in the fertile soil of possibility. Practice. The ancient art of blessing. As the sun rises tomorrow, begin a sacred practice passed down through generations. Take notice of what appears as inconvenient or troublesome in your path. Instead of allowing frustration to speak, consciously transform each challenge into blessing. If traffic slows your journey, declare, "I am grateful for this moment of peace." When plans change unexpectedly, proclaim, "I welcome the higher purpose in this shift." Continue this practice until blessing becomes your natural response to all that life presents. Part 2. The Deepening Spiral. Chapter 11. The Authority of Emotion. In a marketplace filled with precious wares, a merchant displayed two identical pearls. Though each held the same luminous beauty, one commanded a price 10 times higher than its twin. When questioned about this disparity, The merchant lifted the more valuable pearl and whispered to it with such tenderness that it began to glow from within. "This one," he explained, "has been bathed in love for 1,000 nights. The other merely sits in silence." The sacred teachings reveal a truth often overlooked in your spiritual journey, that words alone, no matter how perfectly chosen, cannot manifest without the vital force of emotion to carry them into being. Your declarations are like seeds, but your feelings are the soil in which they must take root. When you speak with divided energy, your tongue saying yes while your heart whispers no, you create interference in the universal frequency of manifestation. Daisy's experience mirrors this ancient wisdom. Each morning, she would stand before her mirror, reciting carefully crafted affirmations about abundance and success. Her words were flawless, selected with precision from spiritual texts. Yet beneath these perfect phrases lurked an undercurrent of doubt, a subtle trembling of fear that contradicted her spoken intentions. Like a radio signal fighting through static, her manifestations remained weak and inconsistent. The universe responds not to the dictionary meaning of your words, but to the emotional electricity that charges them. Your feelings are the broadcasting power that determines how far and how clearly your intentions will travel through the field of infinite possibility. Henry discovered this truth through song. Where once he mechanically repeated affirmations, he began to sing his intentions, allowing melody to bypass his analytical mind and tap directly into joy. As he chanted about prosperity, his voice carrying genuine appreciation for all he already had, his words began to dance with authentic power. The universe, sensing the harmony between his declarations and his heart's true song, responded with swift manifestation. This sacred knowledge teaches that emotion is not merely a companion to your words. It is the very current upon which they travel. When you speak of abundance while feeling grateful, you transmit on clear frequencies. When you affirm health while experiencing the vitality already within you, your cells align with that vibrant truth. Practice the resonance of truth. Take the ancient practice of word weaving one step deeper. Choose a single declaration that represents your deepest desire. Before speaking it aloud, kindle the feeling that its fulfillment would inspire. If it is abundance you seek, let gratitude fill your chest. If it is health you desire, feel vitality flowing through your veins. Only when emotion rises like a wave should you release your words into the universe. Let your voice carry this feeling tone, allowing sound and sentiment to merge into one radiant decree. Repeat this practice until your words and emotions become inseparable messengers of creation. Chapter 12. The Shadow Syntax. In the heart of an ancient marketplace, a wise merchant named Omar noticed an intriguing pattern. Each morning, as vendors gathered to trade their wares, those who spoke with venom about others found their own goods spoiling by sunset. Yet those who spoke with grace, even of their competitors, discovered their shelves emptying with profitable speed. The universal law works through your emotional vibration with unwavering precision. When you speak with judgment or criticism, you unknowingly divert your creative energy into destruction. Each word tinged with negativity becomes a chisel, gradually eroding the very foundation of your desires. Your emotions serve as the power source for manifestation. They are the sacred fuel that transforms mere sounds into commands that the universe must obey. When you engage in harmful speech about others, you sacrifice this precious energy, leaving little remaining for your own creative endeavors. Consider the voice within your chest as a wellspring of power. Each time you choose to speak ill of another, you muddy these waters. Yet when you consciously redirect this force toward constructive expression, you preserve its pure potential. A humble potter named Maya learned this wisdom through experience. For years she struggled to maintain her workshop, finding her clay creations often cracked despite her technical skill. One day, she realized her habit of criticizing fellow artisans had created fractures in her own creative flow. As she transformed her speech into words of appreciation, her pottery began to hold its form with remarkable strength. The universe responds not just to your words, but to the emotional current flowing beneath them. When you choose silence over criticism, you conserve this vital force. When you transform judgment into genuine praise, you redirect this power toward manifestation. Your words carry the authority to shape reality, but their power multiplies when aligned with pure emotion. Each phrase you utter is a seed, and your emotional state determines the fertility of the soil in which it's planted. Sacred practice. Sit in peaceful solitude for a moment. Bring to mind someone you've spoken about unkindly. Now, craft one sincere sentence of blessing for them, infusing it with authentic goodwill. Speak this blessing aloud, feeling its vibration resonate through your being. Notice how the very air around you seems to lighten, as if responding to this shift in your emotional frequency. This is the power of constructive speech, transforming not only your reality, but rippling outward to touch the lives of others. Chapter 13. The Reversal of Negation. In a quiet village, Agnes wandered through her days speaking constant denials. "I am not poor," she would say, yet her circumstances remained unchanged. Though her words seemed to affirm abundance, they secretly reinforced the very state she wished to transform. The ancient wisdom reveals a profound truth about the language of creation. Your subconscious mind processes words with absolute simplicity, often dropping negations entirely. When you declare, "I am not poor," the creative force within hears only, "I am poor," and faithfully produces more evidence of that reality. This subtle mechanism operates continuously, shaping your experience according to the essential meaning your deeper mind extracts from your words. Like a master craftsman who works with pure materials, your subconscious requires clear, positive instructions to manifest your desires. Oliver discovered this truth through his own journey. Living in the same village, he noticed how his attempts to deny lack only seemed to magnetize more scarcity. With newfound understanding, he began to speak in direct, positive statements. "I am abundant. Prosperity flows to me naturally. Wealth surrounds me in all forms." The shift was remarkable. Within weeks, unexpected opportunities arose. His garden yielded unprecedented harvests, and his small trading business flourished. The universe responded not to his rejection of poverty, but to his embrace of abundance. Your words are the brushstrokes with which you paint your reality. Each declaration sets in motion forces beyond your visible awareness. When you speak in negations, you unconsciously reinforce the very conditions you wish to change. But when you declare what you desire with clear, positive certainty, you align all levels of your being with that truth. The language of creation knows no negation. It responds to what you affirm, not what you deny. Each time you say, "I am not," you inadvertently strengthen the connection to what follows. The power lies in stating directly what you wish to experience. Sacred practice. Throughout this day, observe your speech patterns carefully. When you catch yourself using negations, pause and rephrase your statement in positive terms. Instead of "I am not sick," declare, "I am healthy." Replace "I don't want failure" with "I embrace success." Listen to how these positive declarations feel in your body. Notice the resonance of truth they create. Continue this practice until your new way of speaking feels as natural as breathing, and watch as your reality begins to mirror your reformed language. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Word and Time. In the ancient marketplace, a wise merchant sat among his wares day after day. Yet each morning he declared, "One day, fortune will smile upon me." Years passed. His goods gathered dust, while younger merchants who spoke of present prosperity flourished around him. Your words weave the tapestry of time itself. When you speak of someday, later, or soon, you command the universe to hold your desires at that eternal distance. The power that shapes worlds takes instruction from your every utterance, crafting reality according to the timing encoded in your speech. Time is not a rigid stream flowing in one direction, but a responsive field that bends to match your declarations. When you say "I will," you push manifestation perpetually into tomorrow. When you proclaim "I am," you summon it into the eternal now. Consider how a painter must place their brush upon the canvas to create. They cannot paint by forever describing what they will paint tomorrow. In the same way, your words must touch the present moment to bring forth creation. The universe responds not to intention alone, but to the immediacy with which you declare it. Those who master this truth learn to speak in the language of now. They understand that "I am becoming" holds more power than "I will be," for it acknowledges the process already in motion. They recognize that "I choose" carries more creative force than "I want," for it places the speaker in the active position of present selection rather than endless wanting. A humble fisherman named Ralph dwelled in a coastal village, speaking always of the day he would build his fleet of boats. For years his dream remained anchored in the future, until a traveling sage taught him the secret of present tense declaration. That very evening, Ralph stood at the shore and declared, "I am a fleet owner." He began speaking of his ships as though they already sailed, describing their journeys as current events rather than future hopes. Within months, opportunities arose that transformed his declarations into visible reality. A retiring captain offered partnership, investors appeared with proposals, and what had seemed impossible manifested with surprising ease. The key was not in Ralph's actions alone, but in his shift from future-focused speech to present-time declaration. Sacred practice. Sit in stillness for a moment. Take 3 deep breaths and allow your awareness to settle fully into the present moment. Now, speak of your heart's desires as though they breathe alongside you. Rather than "I will achieve," say, "I am achieving." Instead of "I want abundance," declare, "Abundance flows through my life now." Feel each statement as current truth rather than future possibility. Practice this present tense declaration daily, until your words naturally align with the eternal now. Chapter 15. The Phrase of Forgiveness. In a distant mountain village lived a healer renowned not for herbs or poultices, but for teaching the art of spoken forgiveness. Those who carried burdens of guilt and resentment would trek through winding paths to learn this sacred practice. The words you speak weave patterns not just in the outer world, but through the very fabric of your being. When self-judgment fills your speech, it creates disharmony in the body's subtle energies. Each harsh word directed inward becomes a knot in the flowing river of your life force. The universe responds to the vibration of mercy with the same precision it gives to any other declaration. When you speak forgiveness aloud, you activate an ancient alchemy that transmutes discord back into harmony. This is not mere psychology. It is the physics of consciousness itself. Elsie discovered this truth through necessity rather than choice. For years she carried the weight of past mistakes, her words to herself sharp as thorns. "I should have known better," she would say. "I don't deserve good things." Her body reflected this inner dialogue, manifesting as recurring illness that no medicine seemed to touch. The transformation began when she learned to speak mercy aloud. Each morning she would declare, "I release all judgment against myself. I am forgiven." At first the words felt hollow, yet she continued. Gradually, her health began to shift, as though her cells responded to this new language of self-acceptance. In another valley, Wayne grappled with family discord that spanned generations. Bitterness had become an inheritance passed down as faithfully as family heirlooms. The turning point arrived when he began speaking forgiveness aloud for each person who had caused pain, whether present or long departed. "I forgive you," he would say, naming each one. "I release us both." These words, spoken into the quiet of dawn, began dissolving ancient knots of resentment. Without any outer action, relationships transformed, as though his spoken mercy had cleared invisible barriers between hearts. The power of spoken forgiveness lies in its ability to reset the frequency of your personal field. Like tuning a musical instrument, it brings your vibration back to its natural resonance with love. This is not about condoning harmful actions, but about freeing yourself from the burden of carrying them. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you can speak without reservation. Take 3 deep breaths to center yourself. Now speak aloud words of forgiveness first for yourself, then for others who have caused pain. Let the words be simple and true. I forgive myself completely. I forgive, name, completely. Pause after each declaration to feel the subtle shift in your energy field. Allow the vibration of mercy to wash through you, clearing old patterns of judgment and guilt. This practice, done even once with sincerity, can begin unwinding years of accumulated discord. Chapter 16. The Invisible Punctuation. In ancient times, a merchant hurried through the marketplace, speaking so rapidly that his words tangled together like dropped spools of silk. His haste to complete each transaction left both buyers and sellers confused, and his fortune dwindled despite his efforts. Until one day, an old sage touched his shoulder and whispered, "Between your words lies the gold you seek." The space between your words holds as much creative power as the words themselves. When you rush through your declarations, cramming syllable against syllable without pause. You deny the universe the sacred space it requires to weave your intentions into reality. Each breath between phrases serves as the fertile soil where manifestation takes root. Think of the pause after speaking as the moment when a stone meets still water. First comes the splash, your spoken word. But it's in the following silence that the ripples spread outward, touching every shore. This momentary stillness allows your vibration to expand fully before the next wave of creation begins. Many walk through life in constant speech, filling every moment with sound, unknowingly disrupting the delicate process of manifestation. Like trying to plant seeds in soil that's constantly being stirred, there's no chance for roots to take hold. The universe requires moments of quiet to transform your spoken word into physical form. When you speak your intentions, let each statement stand complete in its own space. Feel the power of the pause that follows. In this silence, the quantum field begins its dance of reorganization, aligning circumstances with your declared truth. These sacred intervals are not empty. They are filled with invisible activity, the behind-the-scenes work of creation. A well-timed pause acts as nature's punctuation mark, the period at the end of your creative sentence. Without it, your intentions run together like words without spaces, losing their individual power to shape reality. The silence between your statements allows each one to be fully received and acted upon by the universal mind. The practice of sacred pause. Sit in a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Speak your intention clearly and with feeling, then allow yourself to rest in complete silence for several breaths. Feel the vibration of your words settling into the fabric of reality. Let the pause extend until you sense a subtle shift in the atmosphere around you. This is the moment your words have been fully received by the universe. Only then, move forward with your next declaration. Through this practice, you'll discover that the power of your words multiplies when given room to expand in silence. Chapter 17. The Listening Heart. High in the mountains lived a weaver known for creating tapestries of extraordinary beauty. Each morning she would sit before her empty loom, close her eyes, and wait in perfect stillness until the pattern revealed itself to her. Those who commissioned her work often demanded to know her secrets, growing impatient with her silence. Yet she only smiled, continuing her practice of peaceful anticipation. You stand now at the threshold of a profound truth. The universe speaks not to those who demand, but to those who listen with an open heart. When you approach life with clenched fists and rigid expectations, you create resistance that blocks the very guidance you seek. The gentle whispers of intuition cannot penetrate the noise of desperate wanting. The art of receiving lies not in the intensity of your request, but in the quality of your receptivity. Just as a lake must be still to reflect the stars, your mind must quiet itself to receive divine instruction. Each answer you seek already exists within the silence of your being, waiting to emerge when you release the need to force its appearance. Notice how nature reveals its wisdom. The flower does not strain to bloom. It unfolds in perfect timing. The rain does not demand permission to fall. It simply flows when conditions align. In the same way, your innermost knowing emerges naturally when you cultivate the soil of patience and trust. Consider how a child learns to hear. Before understanding words, they attune to the melody of love in their mother's voice. This same principle applies to spiritual listening. It begins not with intellectual striving, but with heart-centered attunement. When you release the grip of needing to know, when you soften your approach from demanding to receiving, you create space for wisdom to enter. The universe responds not to the volume of your request, but to the openness of your reception. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and place your hand upon your heart. Feel its steady rhythm, the primordial drum that has beaten since before your first breath. Let your attention rest there, sensing the eternal yes pulsing through your being. This heartbeat is your first teacher of trust, your original lesson in divine timing. Remain here, allowing each beat to remind you that all wisdom flows through the open heart that listens in love. Chapter 18. The Word and the Web. In a small desert village, there lived a woman who spoke blessings to her water jug each morning before carrying it to the well. Over time, neighboring villagers noticed their own vessels seemed lighter, their water sweeter. Little did they know the power of her gentle words rippling through the collective consciousness of their community. The universe operates as one vast, interconnected field of energy, where every word uttered sends vibrations through the ethereal web that binds all consciousness. Your thoughts and declarations do not exist in isolation. They merge with the great ocean of human consciousness, creating ripples that touch distant shores. Each time you speak, write, or even think, you contribute to this universal field. Like drops of rain joining a mighty river, your words flow into the collective stream of human experience. This ancient wisdom reveals why masters throughout time emphasized the careful selection of words, not merely for personal benefit, but for the well-being of all. Consider how a single message of hope posted online can ignite a chain reaction of kindness across continents. One authentic expression of love can pierce through the digital noise, touching hearts in ways you may never witness. The power of your words extends far beyond your immediate circle, weaving threads of influence through the tapestry of global consciousness. When you understand this profound connection, you begin to treat each word as a seed planted in the universal garden. Your complaints don't simply echo in your personal space. They contribute to the collective shadow. Your blessings don't merely brighten your path. They illuminate ways for others you may never meet. The quantum field responds not only to your individual vibration, but to the harmonic convergence of all human expression. As you align your speech with higher frequencies of love, peace, and abundance, you become a tuning fork, helping to raise the collective resonance of human consciousness. This truth carries both power and responsibility. Each word you release travels endlessly through the etheric web, touching countless lives in its journey. By maintaining awareness of this sacred connection, you naturally begin to choose expressions that serve the highest good of all. Through consistent practice of conscious speech, you become a lighthouse whose signals guide others toward shores of possibility. Your words become bridges spanning the seeming gaps between hearts, minds, and cultures. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and settle into peaceful breathing. Visualize your next words forming as threads of golden light. See them weaving through an infinite tapestry, connecting with countless other light threads in perfect harmony. Feel the responsibility and joy of contributing to this living network of human consciousness. Let this awareness guide your speech today. knowing each word carries the potential to illuminate paths for others. Chapter 19. The Seal of Faith. In the heart of an ancient marketplace, a merchant inscribed promises of prosperity on tiny scrolls. Those who sustained their belief in these sacred words found fortune flowing naturally into their lives, while those who wavered discovered their blessings dissolving like morning mist. The power of your word extends beyond the moment of its utterance. When you speak an intention into the universe, it becomes a living seed seeking fertile ground. Yet this seed requires the consistent nourishment of your unwavering faith to flourish and bear fruit. Each doubt that crosses your mind acts as a shadow falling across this tender seedling, interrupting its growth. Consider how the universe responds to clarity. When you declare an intention and maintain steadfast faith in its fulfillment, you create a clear channel through which manifestation flows. But when you waver between belief and skepticism, you generate interference patterns that distort this channel, causing your manifestations to appear fragmented or incomplete. Like a signal broadcast across the cosmos, your word carries a unique frequency. This frequency must remain pure and consistent to effectively shape reality. When you speak with conviction but later entertain doubts, you essentially transmit conflicting frequencies that cancel each other out. The universe, ever faithful to your dominant vibration, can only reflect back this state of uncertainty. Your spoken word is like a signature upon the contract of creation. Each time you reaffirm your faith in what you have declared, you strengthen this signature. Each moment of doubt acts as an attempt to erase what you have signed, weakening your agreement with universal forces. The art lies not in the initial declaration, but in maintaining the energy of that declaration through time. When you speak your truth and hold steady in its reality, despite external appearances, you demonstrate mastery over the creative forces at your command. This unwavering stance signals to the universe that you are ready to receive what you have claimed. Sacred practice. Choose one truth that resonates deeply within your heart. Speak it aloud with complete conviction, feeling its reality in every cell of your being. Throughout the day, guard this declaration as a precious jewel, allowing no contrary thoughts to dim its luster. Let your inner dialogue become a constant reaffirmation of this truth, maintaining the pure frequency of your initial declaration. Chapter 20. The Bright Grammar of Gratitude. In a small village among ancient hills, there lived a humble scribe named Amos. Each morning, he would rise before dawn and begin writing a list of blessings he had witnessed the previous day. At first, his words were simple: bread, water, shelter. Yet as days passed, his quill found ever more intricate ways to express appreciation. The way sunlight dances on morning dew replaced sunshine. The melody of wind through olive branches took the place of breeze. Through this practice of naming blessings with increasing specificity, Amos discovered that his perception transformed. The mundane revealed itself as miraculous. A simple clay cup became vessel of life-giving water shaped by ancient hands. His humble dwelling evolved into sanctuary of peace, guardian of dreams. The law of gratitude operates through this refined awareness. When you name a blessing with precision, you tune your consciousness to recognize the sacred within the ordinary. Each detail acknowledged becomes a lens through which divine abundance reveals itself more clearly. In a distant city lived Millie, who discovered this same truth through her evening ritual. Before closing her eyes each night, she would speak aloud 3 sentences of gratitude, each more specific than the last. "I am thankful for today's meal" would deepen into "I am grateful for the farmers who tended the wheat, the miller who ground the flour, the baker who shaped the bread." As she maintained this practice, she noticed a curious phenomenon. Each morning seemed to arrive bearing gifts specifically designed to be mentioned in her evening appreciation. A chance encounter would provide exactly what she needed. A seemingly random delay would protect her from unseen difficulty. It was as if the universe had begun orchestrating events to ensure her gratitude practice would never lack fresh material. This mysterious cycle reveals a profound truth. Gratitude is not merely a response to blessings received, but a magnetic force that attracts new reasons for thankfulness. When you speak appreciation into the quantum field, you effectively reprogram its basic operating instructions. Reality begins to organize itself around your capacity for recognition and praise. Through conscious gratitude, you transmute the base metal of ordinary experience into the gold of divine awareness. Each thankful thought sends ripples through the fabric of creation, attracting more experiences that match its frequency. Your appreciation becomes both telescope and magnet, revealing distant blessings while drawing them nearer. Ancient practice. As day surrenders to night, find a quiet moment to sit in stillness. Begin to list silently the gifts of the day, both those visible to physical eyes and those perceived by the heart's deeper vision. Let each remembered blessing expand your chest with light, as if gratitude itself were a golden breath filling your being. Continue until peace overtakes thought and you rest in the glow of appreciation. Part 3. The Embodiment Spiral. Chapter 21. The Living Logos. Along the ancient Silk Route, a merchant rested at an oasis where a mysterious sage spoke without sound, yet transformed all who drew near. Through presence alone, truth radiated like perfume from a flower, requiring no explanation. You stand now at the threshold where language transcends mere communication. When you reach this sacred junction, words no longer feel like tools you use, but rather the essence of what you are. Your very being becomes the message. In the depths of dawn, Iris discovered this truth. Her morning meditation had evolved beyond reciting peace into becoming peace itself. Each breath carried the frequency of tranquility without effort. Her thoughts, words, and actions flowed as one current, undivided by doubt or resistance. She noticed how others responded not to what she said, but to the resonance she embodied. The ancient teaching whispers, when speaker, listener, and word unite, the trinity of manifestation awakens. This is not about perfecting technique, but about dissolving the perceived boundaries between self and expression. As you merge with your declarations, they cease being external tools and become your native tongue. Calvin's journey revealed similar wisdom. In his work as a healer, he found that his most profound impact came not from carefully chosen phrases, but from the silent radiance of his aligned presence. Words would arise spontaneously, carrying exactly the medicine each person needed. He had become a clear channel through which divine wisdom could flow unimpeded. This level of embodiment transcends the need for constant affirmation. Your energy field becomes a living prayer, continuously broadcasting the frequency of your realized truth. Others feel this resonance and respond to it, often without conscious awareness of why they feel uplifted in your presence. The power of the word returns to its original state, not as something you do, but as something you are. Each moment becomes an opportunity not to speak truth, but to be truth expressing itself through your unique form. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space and allow yourself to settle into deep stillness. Rather than reaching for words or affirmations, simply rest in the echo of your own serene presence. Notice how reality begins to arrange itself harmoniously around your silent radiance. Observe that without effort or declaration, your very being has become the command that shapes experience. Let this awareness deepen until you recognize yourself as the living word. Chapter 22. The Echo of God. In the depths of silent meditation, whispers of ancient truth emerge. Just as the ocean moves through every wave, the one voice of creation speaks through all beings. This knowing, long forgotten yet eternally present, awaits rediscovery within your own sacred utterance. Every word you speak carries the resonance of its origin. When you bless another, you participate in the continuous song of creation that has never ceased since the first divine syllable-shaped existence. Your voice is not separate from this eternal chorus. It is the same voice expressing through a unique vessel. The universe does not speak in one place and listen in another. It maintains an unbroken dialogue with itself through all forms. When you doubt whether your words hold power, remember they are not truly yours alone. They emerge from the same source that spins galaxies and orchestrates the dance of atoms. This revelation transforms hesitation into holy confidence, not the confidence of ego, but the natural authority that flows when you recognize yourself as a channel for divine expression. Your words become sacred not through special technique, but through this recognition of their true origin. As you speak blessings, feel how they resonate within your own being. That warmth you experience is confirmation, the echo of truth recognizing itself. Each blessing you offer creates ripples in the unified field of consciousness, touching others in ways your physical senses may not perceive. The practice of blessing becomes profound when you understand it as divine consciousness blessing itself through you. There is no separation between the one who blesses and the one receiving blessing. There is only the one voice of love speaking to itself through the apparent many. This is why sincere blessings carry such power. They align with the fundamental nature of reality. When you bless another, you participate in the eternal conversation of the universe with itself. Your words become instruments of grace, carrying the original creative force that has never ceased speaking existence into being. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment and focus on a stranger, perhaps someone passing by or someone who comes to mind. Silently offer them a blessing, recognizing that the same divine presence lives in both of you. Feel how the blessing resonates in your own heart, confirming the unity of all being. Let this practice remind you that through your voice, the one great voice speaks still. Chapter 23. The Word Beyond Words. The stillness between words holds more power than any sound could contain. When you first encounter this teaching, it may seem paradoxical. How can silence speak louder than speech? Yet within this mystery lies a profound truth that transforms your relationship with creation itself. In the higher realms of spiritual communication, you discover that words eventually dissolve into pure presence. This was revealed through Opal's journey, as she reached a state where a simple glance carried more meaning than elaborate phrases. Her transformation shows that when consciousness evolves, it naturally moves beyond the need for verbal expression. The universe itself operates primarily through silent transmission. The sun does not speak to make flowers grow, nor does the moon announce its influence on the tides. They simply are, and in their being, they affect all of creation. This same principle applies to your own spiritual evolution. Edwin witnessed this truth in sacred gatherings where healing flowed abundantly, yet few words were exchanged. The participants found themselves bound together in a holy quietude, experiencing communion beyond language. Their experience demonstrates that when you transcend the need for constant verbalization, you tap into a deeper current of connection. This teaching points to an essential truth. The highest form of the living word manifests as presence rather than speech. Just as a master musician learns that the spaces between notes create the melody, you learn that the spaces between thoughts carry the most profound communication. Think of how a mother knows her child's needs without a word being spoken, or how lovers can share entire conversations through a simple look. This is not mere intuition. It is the original language of creation expressing itself through you. The power of silence, saturated with meaning, becomes your natural state as you evolve spiritually. You find yourself communicating more clearly while speaking less, touching hearts more deeply through presence than through persuasion. This is the mature fruit of practicing the Logos, when being itself becomes your message. Ancient practice. Sit in complete stillness for several minutes. Notice the spaces between your thoughts. Allow communication to occur without words, simply through presence. Observe how meaning flows naturally in the silence. Let each pause become a vessel for unspoken truth, experiencing how consciousness touches consciousness without sound. This practice reveals the ultimate expression of the Logos, pure awareness communicating through being itself. Chapter 24. The Eternal Sentence. Life unfolds as an endless composition, each moment flowing into the next like words in an infinite story. Through Ada's awakening, this truth revealed itself with gentle persistence. She noticed how experiences repeated themselves, not as punishment, but as loving instruction, each cycle deepening her wisdom until understanding blossomed fully in her heart. The universe speaks in circles, not lines. Each seeming ending transforms into a new beginning, like breath flowing in and out, creating the rhythm of existence. Ada recognized this pattern in everything, in seasons returning, in lessons resurfacing, in joy circling back after sorrow. She discovered that life itself is an unending sentence of love, each clause building upon the last with perfect grammar. When you align with this eternal flow, you perceive how every moment connects to every other, forming one continuous expression of divine intent. Nothing truly concludes. Everything transforms. Even silence becomes pregnant with meaning, carrying forward the storyline of existence. Wendell's realization deepened this truth. He discovered the universe reading his heart as fluently as a beloved book, continuing his story's paragraph into infinity. His thoughts, feelings, and intentions wove seamlessly into the greater narrative, each contributing to creation's endless unfoldment. Through his experience, you glimpse how the universe maintains an intimate dialogue with each soul, writing through consciousness itself. The teaching reveals that creation never ceases its dictation for those who remain aware. Each sunrise offers a fresh page, each breath provides new ink, each heartbeat continues the sacred text. You are simultaneously the author and the story, the word and its meaning, the speaker and the spoken. This is not about endless repetition, but eternal expansion. Like a spiral staircase, you revisit similar points from ever higher perspectives. Each turn brings deeper understanding, broader vision, greater capacity for love. The universe keeps composing through you, adding layers of meaning to existence's vast manuscript. You discover that every thought contributes to this infinite scroll, every action adds to its unfolding narrative. There is no final chapter, only continuous revelation. The story flows on, carrying all beings forward in its current of endless becoming. Ancient practice. Breathe one final conscious line of gratitude into space. Feeling authorship, pass peacefully back to spirit. Chapter 25. The Portal of Listening Words. In the timeless dance between speaking and listening, a profound truth emerges from the depths of ancient wisdom. When words flow from external memory alone, they carry but a fraction of their inherent power. Yet when you pause to receive the whispered response from within, each syllable awakens with divine potency. Through the mists of time, Hattie discovered this sacred truth. Her daily affirmations had become like footprints in sand, quickly washed away by life's tides. Yet something shifted when she learned to listen in the spaces between her words. Each declaration became a doorway through which universal wisdom could enter. Her practice transformed from mere repetition into holy communion. The universe speaks in the language of subtle sensation, a warming of the heart, a quickening of spirit, a knowing that transcends thought. When you attune to these delicate signals, your words become seeds planted in fertile soil rather than scattered on barren ground. Lionel's journey unveils another facet of this wisdom. Through patient practice, he learned that creation itself seeks dialogue. Each morning he would speak one clear intention, then wait in receptive silence. In that sacred pause, guidance would arise, not as voice or vision, but as pure knowing. His decisions flowed from this dance of declaration and reception, each choice aligned with a higher wisdom. This ancient teaching illuminates a forgotten truth. The power of the word lies not in endless proclamation, but in the sacred exchange between human and divine. When you speak with awareness, then listen with your whole being. You enter into partnership with the infinite. Your words become bridges between worlds, and your silence becomes the space where miracles are born. The masters of old understood that true prayer is not a monologue, but a duet. They taught that wisdom flows most freely when the heart becomes both speaker and listener. In this holy dialogue, your role shifts from commander to collaborator, from petitioner to partner in creation. Practice. Whisper a simple truth, then pause until subtle warmth in the chest confirms that spirit has spoken back through feeling. Let this sacred dialogue become your guide, as the eternal conversation between finite and infinite continues through you. Chapter 26. The Sound of Compassion. Through countless ages, the greatest masters have unveiled a truth so simple, yet so transformative. The power of gentle words surpasses the might of forceful declarations. This wisdom echoes through the story of Myrna, whose journey reveals the subtle alchemy of compassionate speech. Myrna had spent years perfecting her prayers, raising her voice to heaven with precise affirmations and carefully crafted requests, yet the universe seemed unmoved by her vocal intensity. Then came that rainy afternoon when she found her neighbor weeping on the front steps. In that moment, all her practiced phrases fell away. She simply sat, spoke softly, and opened her heart to another's pain. Within days, the very blessing she had long sought began flowing effortlessly into her life. This experience unveils a profound truth about the nature of creative speech. The highest vibrational language flows not from the throat, but from the heart. When words arise from genuine empathy, they carry a frequency that reorganizes reality more swiftly than any determined declaration. Edgar's story further demonstrates this principle. After years of struggling against a business rival, he discovered the transformative power of silent blessing. Rather than continuing their competition, he began holding thoughts of goodwill for his opponent. He would close his eyes each morning and envision his rival surrounded by light and success. Without announcement or acknowledgement, the entire situation began to shift. New opportunities emerged that benefited both parties, as if the universe had been waiting for this signal of harmony to rearrange circumstances. These experiences reveal that the law of attraction responds most powerfully to the language of love. When we speak or think with genuine compassion, we align ourselves with the fundamental frequency of creation itself. This alignment creates a resonance that naturally draws forth positive manifestations. The universe recognizes authenticity above volume. A whispered word of true kindness carries more creative force than 1,000 shouted demands. This is because empathy connects us directly to the source of all manifestation, the infinite love that underlies all existence. Ancient practice. Sit quietly and bring to mind someone who has opposed or challenged you. Rather than rehearsing old grievances, consciously send them thoughts of blessing and goodwill. Continue until you feel a warm expansion in your heart center. Notice how this shift in your inner dialogue begins to rewrite the story of your relationship with them. Let this practice become a daily offering until compassion flows naturally toward all who cross your path. Chapter 27. The Script of Dreams. In the sacred hours between dusk and dawn, a profound conversation unfolds within the theater of consciousness. Viola discovered this truth upon waking one morning, her mind still shimmering with symbols that felt more meaningful than mere imagination. Night after night, she began noticing how her dreams wove tapestries of possibility, each image and scene carefully arranged like words in an ancient manuscript. This revelation opens a gateway to understanding how the subconscious mind continues its creative work, even as your conscious mind rests. Your nighttime visions serve as rehearsals for manifestation, where reality tests new arrangements before bringing them into physical form. Each dream symbol speaks in the original language of creation, pure thought transformed into experience. The deeper wisdom teaches that sleep does not pause your creative power, it amplifies it. During these precious hours, your intentions bypass the analytical mind and speak directly to the universal field. Here, in this twilight realm, your desires find their first expression in the quantum fabric of possibility. Norman's experience illuminates this principle beautifully. Having struggled with a complex business challenge for months, he began practicing a simple ritual before sleep. Instead of carrying his worries into slumber, he would speak gentle directives to his subconscious mind. "Show me the perfect solution," he would whisper, or "guide me to clarity." Upon waking, he found his mind filled with innovative approaches that had never occurred to his conscious thinking. His breakthrough reveals how the dream state serves as an incubator for manifestation. When you plant seeds of intention in the fertile soil of pre-sleep consciousness, you activate forces that work tirelessly through the night. Your subconscious mind, free from daytime doubts and limitations, can access the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all creation. This nighttime dialogue with the universe operates through feeling more than logic. The language of dreams speaks in symbols, emotions, and intuitive knowing. By working with this natural process rather than resisting it, you allow your creative power to flow unimpeded through all states of consciousness. Ancient practice. As you prepare for sleep each night, speak one clear intention to your subconscious mind. Let your words be gentle yet certain, as if instructing a trusted friend. Feel the peaceful assurance that your request has been heard and is already being woven into the fabric of your dreams. Allow yourself to drift into slumber with complete trust, knowing that the wisdom of the universe continues its creative work while you rest. Chapter 28. The Word of Trust. In the quiet hours before dawn, a merchant named Anita paced her chamber, reciting endless affirmations and declarations. Each word seemed to carry the weight of her desperation, as if by sheer volume she could force the universe to comply with her wishes. Day after day she spoke until her voice grew hoarse, yet her desired outcomes remained elusive. Her energy depleted, she finally collapsed into silence. In that unexpected stillness, a profound truth emerged. The teaching reveals that true power lies not in the constant assertion of will, but in the gentle art of surrender. When Anita ceased her relentless speaking, she discovered a deeper form of communication, one that required no words at all. Her exhaustion had led her to wisdom. Trust speaks louder than any proclamation. The universe responds not to the volume of our requests, but to the depth of our alignment. This ancient knowledge shows that surrender is not defeat, but rather the highest form of spiritual articulation. It is the wordless yes that opens channels long blocked by effort and strain. This truth found perfect demonstration through Clyde, a village elder who had long mastered the art of silent power. Before an important gathering where tensions threatened to erupt, he did not prepare lengthy speeches or arguments. Instead, he closed his eyes, took one conscious breath, and whispered only 3 words: "It is well." In that moment, something shifted in the very atmosphere of the room. The simple phrase, backed by absolute trust, carried more authority than hours of debate could have achieved. The meeting that followed unfolded with unexpected harmony, as if his quiet certainty had rewritten the script of possibility. His experience unveils a universal principle. Faith needs few words to work its miracles. When you align with the power of trust, you tap into the original creative force that shaped worlds with simple declarations. Your surrender becomes a form of spiritual efficiency, accomplishing through acceptance what struggle could never achieve. The quantum field responds instantly to this combination of relaxed awareness and unwavering faith. It is as if the universe has been waiting for you to stop pushing, so it can finally show you how effortlessly manifestation can unfold. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space and settle into a comfortable position. Close your eyes and begin repeating the phrase, "It is well," silently within. Let each repetition sink deeper until the words merge with your natural breath rhythm. Continue until you feel your entire being resonating with this simple truth, creating one balanced tone of calm command. Allow this state of peaceful certainty to become your natural way of communicating with the universe. Chapter 29. The Resonant Circle. Once, in a quiet village, a woman named Lillian began hosting evening gatherings in her garden. As the sun set, she would invite neighbors to join in speaking blessings aloud together. At first, participants whispered hesitantly, their words barely stirring the evening air. Yet with each passing week, their voices grew stronger, more assured. The atmosphere itself seemed to respond. Flowers bloomed more vibrantly, birds gathered to listen, and a tangible warmth enveloped their circle. Through these gatherings, an ancient truth emerged. When souls unite in sacred speech, the power multiplies beyond measure. Each voice adds not merely its own strength, but creates an exponential surge of creative force. This is the hidden science of collective intention. Where two or more gather in harmony, reality bends more swiftly to their shared vision. In a distant city, Garrett discovered this same principle through weekly meetings with 3 close friends. They began reading affirmations together each morning before work. Their words, spoken in unison, seemed to weave an invisible tapestry of possibility. Within days, each participant reported remarkable coincidences, chance meetings that led to opportunities, unexpected solutions appearing at precisely the right moment, and resources manifesting as if summoned by their shared declaration. The universe responds to solitary speech, but when hearts unite in common purpose, the response accelerates dramatically. This mirrors the natural law seen in sacred geometries, where individual elements combine to create forms of extraordinary power. Just as crystals amplify light through perfectly aligned structures, human consciousness magnifies creative force through unified intention. Think of sound waves meeting in perfect harmony. They don't simply add together, but multiply, creating resonance that can move mountains. So too does collective blessing generate a force field of manifestation far greater than the sum of individual voices. This is why ancient traditions always emphasized communal prayer and chanting. They understood the geometric progression of shared sound. The sacred practice. Find one kindred spirit, and together speak this simple blessing. Divine light flows through us, blessing all life. As you speak in unity, envision your combined voices creating a golden sphere of light that surrounds you both, expanding outward to touch all it encounters. In this shared moment of sacred speech, you activate the multiplier effect of unified intention. Chapter 30. The Secret of Naming. In a merchant's quarter bustling with activity, a craftswoman named Rosa labored over her creations, speaking of them with trepidation. "My struggling business," she would say, or "these difficult pieces." With each fearful label, her work seemed to conform to her words, becoming exactly what she named it. Her pottery emerged cracked, her deliveries met delays, and her ledgers reflected the hesitation in her voice. The universe responds to the names we give our endeavors with perfect precision. Each title carries a vibration that becomes the foundation upon which reality builds. When you christen something with doubt, you lay cornerstones of limitation. When you baptize it with faith, you establish pillars of possibility. Consider Alvin, who inherited an orchard others called the Withering Grove. Upon taking ownership, he renamed it the Garden of Golden Light. Within one season, the trees seemed to stand taller, their fruits grew sweeter, and visitors remarked on the peculiar radiance that seemed to emanate from among the branches. His renaming was not mere wishful thinking. It was a decree that nature itself rose to meet. This truth extends beyond business and into every corner of existence. The names you give your relationships, your home, your daily tasks, each becomes a seed planted in the fertile soil of the universal mind. These seeds grow precisely according to their naming, for the act of naming is among the most ancient and powerful forms of creation. When you discover yourself using diminishing terms, "my little project," "just an idea," "that impossible situation," pause. Recognize that in these moments, you are programming limitation into the very fabric of what you wish to create. Instead, allow yourself to name with the authority of love, the confidence of faith, and the expectation of abundance. The practice of sacred naming. Choose one aspect of your life that feels stagnant or challenged. Sit in peaceful contemplation until a new name arises that resonates with joy and potential. Speak this new name aloud 3 times, feeling its vibration in your heart. Notice how the simple act of renaming already begins to shift the energy around this situation. Let this new name become your reference point whenever you think or speak of it, and watch as reality reshapes itself to match the higher vibration you have declared. Part 4. The Continuation Spiral. Chapter 31. The Path of Echoes. Along the ancient pathways of a mountain temple, a devoted practitioner named Hazel discovered the sacred art of inner resonance. Each morning, she would speak her chosen mantra aloud. "I am peace eternal." As days passed, she noticed something extraordinary. The phrase continued to pulse within her consciousness long after her voice fell silent. Like ripples on still water, the words echoed through her being without effort or intention. This revelation unveils one of the most potent secrets of manifestation. When a phrase is held with unwavering attention, it begins to vibrate independently of conscious thought. The mind, like a finely tuned instrument, learns to sustain the note even in moments of rest. This self-sustaining resonance transforms casual affirmation into living truth. The power lies not in mechanical repetition, but in allowing the words to become one with your natural rhythm. Just as your heartbeat continues without conscious command, so too can divine truth pulse through your awareness automatically. This is the state where language transcends mere speaking and becomes pure being. Wesley, a humble gardener, embraced this wisdom while tending his flowers. He chose the simple phrase, "all is well," and let it flow through his mind as naturally as breath. While pruning roses or watering seedlings, the words hummed beneath his thoughts. Soon, He noticed thorns seemed to bend away from his fingers, and even the most delicate blooms flourished under his touch. Problems that once appeared insurmountable began dissolving before they fully formed. This practice reveals that sustained vibration creates sustained manifestation. When you allow a truth to echo continuously in your consciousness, you establish a constant creative current. Like a stream that shapes stone through gentle persistence, your chosen phrase reshapes reality through unwavering presence. The quality of your inner echo determines the quality of your outer experience. A phrase charged with divine recognition will continue to generate that same recognition in all it touches. This is why masters of old spent years perfecting their inner sound. They understood that the purity of the echo determines the power of the manifestation. The practice of perpetual resonance. Select one benevolent phrase that represents your highest truth. Let it settle into your awareness like a gentle companion. As you move through your day, allow this phrase to pulse quietly beneath your thoughts, as natural as your heartbeat. Notice how its continuous presence begins to shape both your inner and outer world. This is not an exercise in forced repetition, but an invitation to let truth resonate of its own accord. Chapter 32. The Word That Restores. In the quietude of morning, Mabel knelt before her mirror, the habit of endless apologies weighing upon her shoulders. "I'm sorry," she whispered reflexively to her reflection, then paused, struck by the heaviness these words carried. Day after day she had diminished her light through excessive contrition, until her spirit bore the marks of unnecessary shame. The ancient wisdom teaches that words shape the architecture of our inner temple. Each apology uttered without cause chips away at the foundation of self-worth, while words of appreciation strengthen the pillars of dignity. This truth reveals itself not through complex philosophies, but through the simple observation of how language molds our presence in the world. Earl discovered this transformation quite by accident. Where once he would apologize for taking up space in a crowded room, he began instead to say, "Thank you for making room for me." When running late to meet friends, rather than beginning with, "I'm sorry," he learned to say, "Thank you for your patience." The shift seemed subtle at first, yet its effects rippled through every relationship. The universe responds not to our regret, but to our recognition of grace. When you replace the habit of apology with the practice of gratitude, you allow the natural order of healing to flow unimpeded. This is not to dismiss genuine contrition when warranted, but to release the pattern of unnecessary self-deprecation that dims your light. Consider how often you apologize for your very existence, for your needs, your feelings, your presence. Now imagine replacing each of these moments with appreciation. This is not merely a change of words, but a fundamental realignment with the truth of your inherent worth. The sacred teachings whisper that gratitude is the highest form of restoration. It lifts both giver and receiver, creating a field of grace where healing naturally occurs. Through this understanding, relationships transform from spaces of constant apology to sanctuaries of mutual appreciation. Practice. Shift inner dialogue from regret to gratitude until self-respect stands upright and radiant again. Chapter 33. The Pulse of Creation. In the depths of meditation, Olive detected a gentle vibration beneath her ribs during prayer. At first, she mistook it for anxiety, but as she remained still, wisdom dawned. This pulsation was the sacred bridge where word transforms into wave, where intention becomes manifest reality. The ancient teachings reveal that your heartbeat serves as more than mere biological function. Each pulse writes a punctuation mark in the endless sentence of creation, marking the spaces between what is spoken and what manifests. Your physical heart beats in perfect synchronicity with universal law, each throb echoing the original rhythm that first moved upon the waters of creation. Hermann discovered this truth through his own explorations. For months, he had recited affirmations with mechanical precision, yet results remained elusive. One morning, while placing his hand upon his chest, he felt drawn to align his words with his heartbeat. "I am blessed," he whispered, each word riding the wave of a pulse. Within days, his circumstances began shifting with remarkable speed. Opportunities appeared as if summoned by the drumbeat of his synchronized intentions. His experience illuminates a forgotten wisdom. Your body's rhythm and divine timing flow as one current. When you align your declarations with your heartbeat, you tap into the original frequency of manifestation. This is why ancient traditions often combined prayer with movement, chant with dance. They understood that physical rhythm amplifies spiritual power. The heart, in its wisdom, maintains a perfect meter, neither rushing nor delaying. It beats steadily whether you sleep or wake, matching the cosmic pulse that sustains galaxies. When you consciously join your words to this rhythm, you participate in the grand orchestration of creation itself. The quantum field responds not just to what you say, but to the vibrational signature carried by your words. Each heartbeat serves as a timestamp, marking your intentions into the fabric of space-time. This explains why prayers spoken from deep within the heart carry greater power than those uttered only from the mind. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space and place your hand gently upon your chest. Feel the steady rhythm beneath your palm. Begin softly repeating, "I am alive, I am guided," allowing each phrase to flow with your natural heartbeat. Continue until the distinction between pulse and prayer dissolves, until your heartbeat feels like the voice of Source speaking through you. Let this rhythm remind you that you are always in perfect time with universal law. Chapter 34. The Language of Light. In the quiet depths of evening, Eunice sat in her familiar meditation posture, eyes closed against the fading day. As her thoughts settled like leaves upon still water, colors began to dance across her inner vision. First gentle blues that whispered peace, then vibrant golds that sang of possibility. Each shade appeared as an answer, a response to the questions her heart had not yet formed into words. Within this rainbow dialogue, she discovered a truth both ancient and immediate. Consciousness communicates first through light, before sound shapes syllables or thought arranges meaning. The colors spoke with an immediacy that transcended the slow march of language, each hue carrying wisdom that needed no translation. When your awareness opens to this luminous conversation, you begin to understand that every thought radiates its own signature of light. Fear casts shadows while love illuminates. Doubt dims the inner landscape, but faith brightens every corner of perception. This is why the wise ones of old, spoke of enlightenment rather than ensoundment. They recognized that illumination, not verbalization, marks the peak of understanding. Percy's experience revealed this same principle through practical application. As he moved through his home speaking blessings, he witnessed an extraordinary phenomenon. The rooms themselves appeared to brighten, not from any external source, but from an inner luminosity that seemed to arise from the very atoms of each object. The walls glowed with soft warmth, furniture seemed to radiate gentle light, and even the air itself appeared to shimmer with golden particles of possibility. This was no mere trick of imagination. The environment responded to his intentional blessings by revealing its true nature, pure light arranged by consciousness into form. His words didn't simply echo in empty space. They awakened the sleeping light within matter itself. Here lies the culmination of all we have explored about the power of the spoken word, that beyond sound, beyond meaning, beyond even the subtlest vibration, exists the pure light of creation itself. This is the original language of the universe, the first word that has never ceased speaking. When you align your speech with this understanding, your words become more than sound waves traveling through air. They become carriers of light, awakening the luminosity dormant in all things. Each blessing you speak sends forth rays of transformative power. Each affirmation paints with colors beyond the visible spectrum. Ancient practice. Sit quietly and visualize your chosen words emerging not as sound, but as streams of pure light. Watch them flow from your heart center, painting trails of radiance through the space around you. Allow this light to touch everything in your environment, awakening its inner luminosity. Continue until you sense outer and inner light, becoming one unified field of conscious radiance. In this space, you'll discover that all true communication has always been an exchange of light. Chapter 35. The Circle of Reflection. A gentle whisper once reached across an ancient marketplace, transforming chaos into harmony. The merchant who spoke it watched in awe as his words returned to him through the voices of strangers, each carrying the same tone of peace he had planted moments before. This truth emerges through time. The world is an infinite mirror, reflecting back every vibration we release into its sacred space. Sylvia discovered this law through simple observation. Her complaints about morning traffic found their way back through co-workers' conversations. Her expressions of gratitude returned as unexpected gifts. Soon she realized, the universe never misses a single word we speak. Like an eternal echo chamber, it amplifies and returns our own voice through countless channels. When understanding dawned, she began choosing her words with the care of one writing in stone. Each phrase became a seed, deliberately planted in the fertile soil of consciousness. Within minutes, sometimes hours, those same words would find their way back to her ears through different voices, as if the world itself was teaching her the power of her own speech. The teaching reveals this mirroring as the universe's most precise educational system. Every word we speak becomes a lesson reflected back for our contemplation. The world responds not just to volume, but to the underlying frequency of our communication, the hidden vibration beneath our chosen words. Lester's experiment proved this principle with stunning clarity. For 7 days he spoke only of beauty, gratitude, and harmony. He described challenges as opportunities for growth, rather than problems. He replaced complaints with appreciation. The shift in his external reality was swift and unmistakable. Strangers spontaneously offered kind words that echoed his own. Opportunities arose that matched his positive declarations. Even his physical environment seemed to reorganize itself to reflect the new vibration he had established. His discovery confirmed that the universe operates as a continuous feedback loop, instantly mirroring our conscious and unconscious communications. Each word we speak becomes a living instruction, teaching us through its inevitable return the true nature of creative speech. Practice. Speak softly but clearly, a phrase of harmony, then watch how reality replies within hours, understanding that reflection is the loudest teacher of mastery. Chapter 36. The Quiet Continuum. In the shadows of an ancient temple, Nell sat in meditation day after day, observing how each word she had ever spoken continued to resonate through the chambers of existence. At first, she noticed only the immediate effects of her speech, the way her complaints drew more reasons to complain, how her gratitude multiplied blessings. But as her awareness deepened, she witnessed something far more extraordinary. Every word she had ever uttered still lived, vibrating through the fabric of time itself. The universe operates as an infinite echo chamber where no utterance truly ends. Each syllable, whether whispered in joy or cried in anguish, ripples eternally through the corridors of time. Your words do not disappear into silence. They transform into living frequencies that continue to shape reality long after your voice has stilled. This revelation illuminates the true nature of mastery. It lies not in perfecting technique, but in awakening to the perpetual nature of speech. When you understand that each word persists, flowing through the eternal now, your communication naturally transforms into continuous prayer. Every phrase becomes sacred, every utterance a seed planted not just in present soil, but in the fertile ground of all moments. Byron's journey deepens this understanding. After years of carrying regret for harsh words spoken in anger, he discovered that blessing could travel backward through memory. Each evening, he would sit in silence, sending waves of loving words into his past. Gradually, he witnessed the miraculous. Old wounds began to heal, not just in his heart, but in the hearts of those he had hurt. The peace he spoke into yesterday flowed into tomorrow, creating a harmonious resonance across all time. His experience reveals a profound truth. Sound belongs not to time, but to eternity. Your words are not bound by the linear march of hours and days. They exist in a spiral dance of continuous creation, where past, present, and future interweave in divine synchronicity. The practice. Find a quiet space and settle into still awareness. Breathe deeply until you feel centered in the eternal now. Begin to whisper, "Thank you," not just into this moment, but into every memory that arises, every future scenario that presents itself. Let this gratitude flow freely through all timelines of your experience. Continue until you sense all moments, past, present, and future, humming together in perfect harmony, united in forgiveness and completion. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. You now stand at the threshold of understanding that extends beyond mere comprehension. a knowing that settles into the marrow of existence itself. The words you speak are not fleeting breaths dispersing into nothingness, but eternal vibrations weaving through the fabric of creation. Each syllable carries the resonance of that first divine utterance which brought worlds into being. From this vantage point of awareness, you perceive how every phrase you've ever spoken continues its journey through the corridors of time. The angry words still echo, the loving words still bless, the fearful words still constrict, and the courageous words still expand. Nothing is lost. All persists in the great symphony of creation. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, preserves each sound as a living seed, perpetually germinating new realities. Your casual conversations of yesterday shape the circumstances of tomorrow. Your whispered prayers of last year still orbit in the ethers, drawing their answers closer. Even your forgotten words maintain their creative pulse, sculpting the unseen into form. This revelation brings both profound responsibility and liberating joy. You are not merely describing reality, you are participating in its ongoing creation. Every word you speak joins the eternal chorus that sustains existence itself. The power you once feared to claim now reveals itself as your natural inheritance. In this awakening, you recognize that true mastery lies not in accumulating more words, but in allowing each word to arise from the depth of conscious connection with Source. Speaking becomes a sacred act, not because you force it to be, but because you finally recognize what it has always been. The mystery of the Logos stands unveiled not through seeking but through becoming. You are the Word made flesh, the living bridge between thought and form, the human voice through which the divine continues its eternal song of creation.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.